In this article, I will be focusing on two theories on how the brain works. Those two theories are: physicalism, the brain produces consciousness. Electromagnetic field theory, consciousness and cognitive integration arise from the brain's global electromagnetic field. Physicalism. From a physicalist perspective, consciousness is understood as a natural phenomenon produced by, or identical to, the physical processes and complex organization of the brain. Physicalism maintains that mental states are nothing over and above neurochemical, electrochemical organism activity within the brain, rejecting the need for non-physical entities like souls or spirits. Here a second definition to give the reader a better understanding of where materialist science is coming from. Physicalism is the metaphysical thesis that everything in the universe is fundamentally physical, asserting that there is nothing over and above the physical, such as immaterial minds or souls. It posits that all entities, including mental states, supervene on physical substances, meaning mental changes require physical changes. In other words, reality is how we experience it. Core principles. Emergence. Consciousness is considered an emergent property of neural activity, much like liquidity emerges from the interaction of H2O molecules, even though individual molecules are not liquid. Identity theory, a strong, or reductive, physicalist view is that mental states, e.g., pain, seeing red, are literally identical to specific brain states, e.g., C-fiber firing. Weak emergence. Many proponents argue that consciousness is, in principle, reducible to physical processes, and that subjectivity is the internal interpretation of this physical activity. Mechanisms of production. There's no one theory that is universally accepted, so here is a bunch of theories instead. Complex networking. The brain, with its 100 billion neurons and 100 trillion connections, creates highly integrated and differentiated information structures. The high complexity of these networks is believed to yield subjective experience. Energy processing. Some theories suggest consciousness is the result of energetic activity, the organization of neural activation and inhibition, rather than just computational information processing. Global workspace theory, GWT. Consciousness occurs when information from specialized, local, unconscious brain modules is broadcasted to the rest of the brain, allowing for widespread sharing and access. Integrated information theory, IIT. Consciousness is identified with a system's ability to integrate information. The idea that the whole system has more cause-effect power than the sum of its parts. Arguments/evidence that support this theory. Brain damage/injury. Damage to specific areas of the brain, such as the prefrontal cortex or hippocampus, can severely alter or destroy specific aspects of consciousness, including personality, memory, and cognitive ability. Neurochemistry. The direct impact of drugs on conscious experience, e.g., stimulants, depressants, anesthetics, demonstrates that altering the neurochemistry of the brain directly alters consciousness. Brain imaging. Studies showing increased activity in specific brain regions, e.g., FFA for faces, when a subject experiences a specific stimulus, provide a direct link between neural activity and experience. Counterarguments. The hard problem. Critics argue that while physicalism explains the easy problems, how the brain processes information, it fails to explain why these processes feel like anything at all. Qualia. Conceivability argument. Zombies. Some argue that it is conceivable that a being could have the same physical brain processes as a human but lack subjective experience, suggesting consciousness is not merely physical. Electromagnetic field theory. The electromagnetic, EM, field theory of the brain posits that consciousness and cognitive integration arise from the brain's global electromagnetic field, rather than solely from the electrical impulses, spikes, within individual neurons. This theory suggests that the complex, constantly changing EM field generated by synchronously firing neurons creates a unified, joined-up information field that constitutes our mind, effectively solving the binding problem of neuroscience: how disparate sensory data are unified into a single experience. Core concepts of EM field theories. Semi-field theory, conscious electromagnetic information, championed by John Joe McFadden. This theory argues that while neurons fire in parallel for non-conscious tasks, conscious thought arises when neuronal firing synchronizes to generate a unified EM field, which then influences neuron firing rates, creating a feedback loop, the strange loop of consciousness. The binding problem solved. The brain's EM field is, by its nature, unified, like a single photon, whereas neuronal signals are discrete and scattered. The field uni.